right, welcome back to the channel, everybody. As you can see, we got lots of pennies here. So, I don't even know where to start. I keep walking into my banks and they keep saying, hey, you want pennies, don't you? Here's some more. So, I now have 4 boxes. So, what's that? 220 rolls here. So, lots to go through. I probably am not going to do all of them in one hunt. I will break them up. My thinking is that I'm going to start off, we'll do these 2 bundles, and we'll do this first box. Haven't even looked at them. I don't know what's in what. Some of them may be, previously hunted by other coin roll hunters, or they could be, rolls like I've had in the past. And although the last hunt was not as strong as some of the earlier hunts, but yeah, I'm quite hopeful here. I've kind of peeked through some of the boxes and just saw the odd end, and there were some older heads in there. So yeah, so I'm thinking we're good to go. All right, I'm gonna move this stuff off my desk and I'll get things set up, and we will start with this bundle right here. Okay, just about to start this roll, and I notice we actually have a wheat cent right there. So hopefully we get some luck. Let's just start off with this wheat cent right off the bat and see what we can find in here. So pretty sure I got the right one. Yeah, I won't go through them all on camera. I'll just start off with this one, see how it goes, and then I'll probably just bring you in either, depending on how good the rolls are. I'll bring you in on really good rolls and we'll go through them together, or come on, or we'll maybe do it like I did on the last hunt, where I'll do maybe 10 rolls at a time and just do a recap when I get to the end of the 10th roll, just so it doesn't make the video too long. So it doesn't look like the rest of the stuff in here is all that exciting. Well, although there is a 1942 wheat cent right there, and that's not the one that was on the end, so that's a good start. And let's take a look at the one. Oh, maybe that was the one on the end. It must have flipped, I guess. So the rest look pretty normal. Bunch of copper 60s and 70s pennies in there. Probably going to go through a bundle at a time. We'll start off that way unless I start seeing something super exciting. We're 10 rolls down, and I'd say it was pretty light for 10 rolls. We got some 64s, which most of these are just going to get thrown back, or they'll go in with my copper pennies over here. I'll keep the bottom one. It's in reasonable shape. Whether it makes the cut, I don't know. But yeah, it's not too bad. And then I checked these all for their varieties as well. So 63, 62, 58, 56. They all have the young head, first of all, in the back, and they have the hanging die clash that is a common variety for these, but they are not on those. Did get a new pence, or new penny, UK coin, and I've got lots of these, seen these many times in the past. And of course the very first one, which is actually probably the nicest of the bunch, was that 1942 wheat cent. So not in the greatest shape, but it is a wheat penny, so we will hang on to it and we'll move on to the next roll. Second bundle down, and we've got a few more finds here. So we got another new penny. Add that up to the other one up here. We do have a 1965. I'm going to come back to these at the end and check them all. There's a lot of stuff to look for, and the pointed 5 is really difficult to determine. It's good to have a bunch of them to look at the same time. 64s I went through, there's nothing in the 64s to worry about, and the mintage is super high on these. 500 million, something like that. It's a lot. It's almost double the ones below it, so I will throw that in with the rest of my copper. Went through the 63s. There is one to talk about here. I'll come back to in a sec. We got 462s, 261s. We got a 1941 King George VI head. So it's nice to get one of those older ones. So add that up to the pile up here. And then this one here, it is a hanging 363. So if we put it up onto the microscope, you can see the die clash there. And my dirty fingers already, just in a short period of time doing these pennies. So I don't know if you can see it well there. Maybe if I turn, there you go. So now you can see that die clash there. So it's just that L-shaped divot in the coin that comes down and hits the top of the 3. So everything from 53 and above, I believe, are all have this potential for this die clash, and right up until the 64. So pretty much all the young heads, you're looking for that die clash on there. So yeah, set that one aside. It's not in great shape, realistically. In a decent shape, close to near mint or semi-uncirculated, maybe you get $1 for it. So in this kind of condition, who knows? But they are rare or semi-rare, and it's worth looking for them when you're going through. So I will set that one aside, move all the rest of these up, and we'll move on to the next roll. All right, I just pulled my first roll out here. My plan was to take this first 2 rows of 5, so the first bundle of 10, and kind of bring you in after that. But when I went to dump this, I noticed just as I started to dump it that it has 60 to 67 written on the side. And when I looked in, there is a young head. I don't know if you can see that. So maybe that's what we got in here. So that'd be kind of cool to get a whole roll of them. And looks like it might be. Yeah. They are all in the 60s. So I am going to go through them all and set them up. I won't, there's nothing too exciting, but I'll check them all for the hanging stuff and some of the other variants in the 64s and 65s. Anything above 65, I'll just set aside. And then let's just pull this other roll and see what was in behind it. So we're in that same area here. So let's just see. I have not, oh yeah. Mix 2006. Okay, so this is a collection dump of some type. Now there are some pretty good variants in there. Wouldn't imagine we'll find them in here, but that's kind of exciting. So yeah, what do we got here? More 60, 67. Let's pull that out and put that with this one. More 2006 mixed. And more 2006 mixed. This is definitely some kind of collection dump here. There's just tons of them in here. Okay. So I'm going to go through this. I will sort it out and figure out what exactly we've got going on here, and then we'll kind of do them in batches, I think, just to keep it from getting too long. Okay, we got some order here to it all. So let's just start with these here, including the roll that I dumped out, which is just this empty roll here. We have 4, 5, 6, let's just bring this down here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we have 14 rolls that are marked 60 to 67. Not sure why they picked those dates specifically. Well, 1960, the mintage is only 75 million and 61 is 140 million. So 60 for sure are a little bit more rare. Not sure why that was this person's cutoff, but that's fine. I will go through all this. I'm going to pull out anything up to 63. I like to keep all the young heads for now. If I end up getting just too many of them, then they may end up in my own collection dump at some point. But for the time being, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull all those young heads out. And I'll pull the 64s and 65s, look at them for varieties, and then I will bring you back in at the end of it all. It's going to be kind of boring going through these. There's not, we know what's in there already. I have checked the ends. It looks like that's what's actually in there. So then I can touch on any varieties that I find and how many of them we get. So we'll do that first. Then you can see over here we've got some one marked 2010 NM. I'm going to assume that's near mint, so there are probably some really nice 2010s. I didn't actually look. Nope, they're not. It's more 2006 by the look of it, so this might really belong in with the rest. And I got one that's got 1988 written on the end, or on the side. No, that's got 64 on the end, so I'll maybe... Okay, you know what? We're not sure if those are actually what they say they are, so I'm going to put those. So these here all don't have any particular markings on them. So I will set these in with those, and we'll do those in a separate batch. These two are marked US. I must admit, I did not look. We can just look at the end. Yeah. Oh, no. That is 2006 as well. Get that to focus there. So, let me go through all these, and for you it's going to be a second. For me it's going to be, I don't know how long, quite a bit of time to go through all this stuff and get this organized, but I will bring you back in when I'm done with it. Okay, so I got through only 4 rolls actually, as it turns out here. So out of all of these, there were only 4 rolls that were actually the 60 to 67s, and as it turns out they're really 60 to 66 minus 62. So all the 62s were taken out. Now there is the harp and guitar variant on the 62, so that's probably why. And kind of as expected, there was really not much in the way of variants. I did go through all the 64s for all the variants. I actually checked the 265s. I did get a really nice 63, or a decent 63 and a decent 66. So set those aside. I'll put those in my collection. The 64s are all just going to go back in with the copper. I will keep the 63s and the 61s and the 60s for now. So that was it for those 4 rolls, except for this one. So this was also one of the nicer 63s that I pulled out. And as it turns out, and lucky for me, you might even be able to see it with the naked eye there. Let me see if I can get it to focus better. Yeah, you can kind of see it. So right above that 3 there is the die clash there. That gives it the name, the hanging 3. And if we put that underneath the microscope, you can see it quite clearly there. So that is a hanging 3 variant. So happy to find that. And in decent shape as well. So that actually has some value. So keeping that one for sure. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the rest of these. These seem to be a mix of all sorts of stuff. So I will do these next. I'll bring you back in when I'm done these, and then I'll probably move on to these. They look like they're a real mix. This was not US as it turned out. So yeah, that was a pretty decent haul so far. All these 64s are going into the copper pin, but yeah, not too bad. Okay, so those bundles are done, and not a whole lot of finds in here. I did find a bunch of 64s. I counted those up, now I forgot what there was. I think it was like 13 of the 64s, 3 63s, 61 and 260s, so nothing too exciting there. I might have found a couple more. Yeah, I think actually in that batch I did find some more of the so just the really nice 74s. There's a 75 in there that I've been picking out. So if it's really in great shape, then I'm setting those aside and hang on to those. The 61, there was, so the 61, I think it was a 61. It was a very, very faint, yeah. So, you know, you could argue that that is a hanging one. That's the shape of it, but it's so faint, it's really, really hard to see. So, don't know if you can make it out there, but the line kind of runs along there and then it runs down here. So that is the 61, the hanging 61, or hanging one, they call that. But yeah, nah, not going to worry about it. You can just go in with the rest of them. So, all right, so we will start with, or move on to these, see what we've got in there. They seem to be just a mix of stuff as well. And then I will finish up with those 2006s. All right, so we got all those rolls done. All we've got left are the ones here marked with 2006 varieties. So we got 20 rolls left. Gonna go through those next, and we got just a few more of the young heads here. Nothing terribly exciting, no earlier dates. Earliest is in 1960, so we got a 1960, 61, 62. We have 10 64s. Check them all for the varieties. There are none in there. And we had 10 63s as well. There's 8 there, and I have 2 over here, which I left aside because they are both the hanging variety. So if we go, let me get my lid down here. So we take a look at these. So there you can see quite clearly that 63. It's got that kind of S-shaped die clash coming off the leaf to the top of the 3. So that's not in great shape, but I will hang on to that as a variety. And then the 60, this 63, it's also there, and you just got to get the light to shine on it properly. It's not a very good strike for the die clash, or for that hanging variety. Turn it upside down, I think I saw. Yeah, this one shows up much better, kind of upside down there. So it's not the nicest one, but I'll set them both aside with the rest, and we will get back into those 2006s. So those are the last bundles I'm going to go through. My stack of copper is overflowing. I've actually rolled up, I think, 4 rolls already of that, just to make a bit more room. Did find a few more of these 70s that are in pretty decent shape. So they all seem to be 74s for the most part. A couple 74s. I did get a 1980 there as well. So yeah, they're in nice shape, so hang on to those. All right, let's get to these 2006s. In the 2006, there are 6 main varieties. A RCM magnetic and non-magnetic version. Well, let's just dump one of these out, and maybe we can see what the varieties are. Okay, so I just put these out here so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So there are 3 varieties here in the 2006, one with the Royal Canadian Mint mark, one without the Royal Canadian Mint mark, and there's also one that has a P mint mark on it. So that's the most rare of the 2006s, is trying to find any of them at all that have the P on it. The numbers that I have are that the no mint mark version that is non-magnetic is 886 million of them. There is an undisclosed number that are also magnetic, and those are the rare ones. That's the ones you're looking for. So you want to look for these, and then you want to check them to see if they're attracted to a magnet. That's the rare one you're looking for. The RCM are a little less common, so there was a magnetic and a non-magnetic version of these as well. Non-magnetic is 176 million, and the magnetic is 137.5 million in the RCM. So don't worry about, I don't even look at these. All I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm going to look for any that have a P mint mark, which I have come across 0 so far after doing, I don't know, quite a few that I've gone through, and I've found no P mint marks. So anyway, I'm going to go through, look for the P mint marks. Both of those are rare. Both of those are valuable. The non-magnetic is by far the most valuable of the P mint marks, and there's about 233,000 of the P mint marks that are magnetic, which also are really hard to find, obviously. And then I'm looking for the magnetic version of this. So this one here is very likely non-magnetic, yeah. So all right, so I will do all 20 of these rolls. My guess is that I'm going to come back in a couple seconds and say, I got nothing, but we will cross our fingers and hopefully we find something. Well, I guess you could say that was interesting. That's all we found. Digging through all those rolls, and this random beat up 1959 young head was in there. Amongst all those 2006s. They were actually also had 1985s in there as well that I just checked for the pointed 5, but as expected, these have been searched. There was nothing there. So this is the recap. Just thought I'd show you what we did get. So I did get a nice little selection of pretty sharp looking, 70s. I think there's a 1980 in here as well. Yeah, right there. And a 1964. So some, they're in great shape, so I'll set those into my collection. We did get a 1963 hanging 3. I actually got a bunch of them. We got these 3 here as well, but this is a really nice one that's got that hanging 3. If you can probably see it. Anyway, I did show you on the microscope earlier. 1942 wheat cent. That was the only one we got. We did get a 1941 King George VI head, and then the rest, they're all pretty common, right? Bunch of 63s. This looks like 41 63s. We got about 27 or so, or 26 of the 61s, some 62s. Oh, actually, you know what? I didn't check these 62s for the guitar and harp. My guess is they're probably not there, but let's just take a quick look. So where you're looking is underneath the 1, and just want to see if there are some lines running from the 1 to the maple leaf, and they are not so far, as kind of expected, but we'll take a quick look here. I did check these for the hanging 2s, but forgot to check them for the guitar and the harp. So I forget which one it is. I think the guitar, the lines go, there'll be several lines coming down from the 1 down to the leaf. They go all the way to the leaf, I think, on the guitar, and they only go part way down for the harp, or the other way around. I forget how it goes. But anyway, you see some lines underneath your 1 there. You want to hang on to that because that's a little bit more valuable penny. All right, well, thank you very much for coming along. Not terribly exciting finds, but we did find some cool stuff. The box was kind of interesting in that it was obviously a dump of some type, and yeah, I'm not going to complain. That's not too bad. This one here is probably the find of the entire hunt. Really nice shape, and it's got the hanging 3 die clash on it. So happy with that. Thank you very much for joining us. Please like and subscribe. Take care, everyone. Have a great one.